Hi everyone. Let us discuss about the very first chapter of second PU, that is electrostatics. So let us begin our journey with the very first chapter of second PU, electrostatics. Every time we must understand what is the meaning of title first. Electrostatics. What is the meaning of static? Static means rest. So electrostatics means the study of effect of electric charges when they are at rest. That's why it is called static. Electrostatics nothing but study of effect of electric charges when they are at rest. Now, in this whole electrostatics, we mainly talk about four things. What are those four things are? Electric force, first one. Electric field, second one. Electric potential, third one. Electrostatic potential energy, fourth one. That's why we divided the electrostatics into two parts. The very first one is electric charges and fields, and the second one is electric potential and capacitance. So there are two parts of electrostatics. The first portion is all about electric charges and fields, and the second one is about electric potential and capacitance. Now, if we come to the first part, electric charges and fields, first let us try to understand few basic things required to understand the whole electrostatics. What are those basic things? So the basic things are, what is the meaning of charge and how does the concept of charge exist? So that is what mainly we need to understand. If we consider first, what is charge? The answer is, in a simplest manner, it is nothing but a property of an object. A property of an object which is responsible for electrical effects of charges. So, which is responsible for electrical effects of a body, an object. So, charge is the one property which is responsible for electrical effects of body. Now, previously in PU1 we have studied about gravitation, where we have studied gravitational effect. There we have seen gravitational force. There we have considered the property of the object, nothing but mass. Mass is responsible for gravitational effect. Similarly, charge is responsible for what? Electrical effects. So, charge is responsible for electrical effects, mass is responsible for gravitational effect. So, in that way, we can understand the meaning of what is charge. Now, let us have a brief look into what actually we are going to study in this chapter. First, if we consider electric charges and fields, what is charge? What are all the properties of charge? And what kind of force will exist between any two charges? That is given by Coulomb's law. And then, what is the effect of one charge on the surrounding charges? That is nothing but we call it as electric field. And what is the difference between a point charge and a continuous charge? Like charge given to a body with continuous mass distribution. Then, what is the meaning of electric flux? And Gauss's law and its applications. Then finally, we also study about electric dipole. What is the meaning of electric dipole? And what is the electric field produced by an electric dipole? These are all the things we study under electric charges and fields. Next, we study about electric potential and capacitance, where mainly we talk about two things. One is potential and another one is capacitance. So here the first thing is, what is the definition of electric potential or potential difference, and what is electrostatic potential energy, and what is the relation between electrostatic potential, electrostatic field, also what is the relation between force and energy. All those things we will discuss. And here potential energy of an electric dipole, that also we will discuss it. And potential due to an electric dipole, we also study the potential due to various continuous charge distribution. In the similar way, we also study potential due to an electric dipole. Now, the final part of this electrostatics is all about capacitors. So, where first we study about properties of conductors and what is the meaning of capacitor and what is the purpose of capacitor actually, and in that mainly 90% we talk about and we study about parallel plate capacitor. What is the structure of parallel plate capacitor? What is the function of parallel plate capacitor? What is the combination of capacitors? And what is the charge of capacitor? What is the energy stored in the capacitor? And also what is the effect of medium between the conductors? What is the effect of dielectric in the space between the plates of capacitor? So these all things we are going to study. This is all about electrostatics. But here let us have few things. Let us try to understand few things. Like we compared gravitation with electrostatics and we concluded that, or we said that mass is the property responsible for gravitational effect and charge is responsible for electrical effects. But what is the difference if you consider? Gravitational effect is always in attractive nature, but electrical effects, if you consider, there is attractive as well as there is repulsive. And one more thing, mass is always positive. We never talk about mass is negative. But here in electrostatics we talk about charge is positive, charge is negative. So charges are of two types. Similarly, electric force also two types. That is also one more major difference when you compare to gravitation. And here the whole concept of charging of a body depends upon the electron. Completely charging of a body depends upon what? The concept of electron. So the charges are of two types we are telling, positive and negative. Inside the substance, every substance made up of atoms or molecules. So every atom is made up of many fundamental particles, and in that the two important fundamental particles are electrons and protons. And electron is always having negative charge, proton is always having positive charge, but both are having same charge. Magnitude of charge of electron and proton is same, but charge of electron is negative, charge of proton is positive. And the concept of charge of a body comes from the electron. Like excess of electrons in a body represents negatively charged, and deficiency of electrons in a body represents positively charged body. So that's why always the charge of a body depends upon lack of electrons or excess of electrons. Deficiency or excess of electrons in a body represents the positively charged body or negatively charged body. And as we mentioned, the electric force is of two types, attractive and repulsive. And we need to remember one thing, that the similar charges, like two positive charges or two negative charges, they repel each other, and two opposite charges always attract each other. So finally I am going to conclude in a simplest manner. Electrostatics, it is nothing but the study of effect of electric charges when it is at rest. And the second one, what is the meaning of charge? Charge is nothing but property of the body or substance which is responsible for electrical effects. And the third one, the charges are of two types, positive and negative. Similarly, the electric force is also two types, attractive as well as repulsive, where the attractive always exists between the opposite charges and repulsive force exists between the similar or like charges, like two positive or two negative charges. So this is what the basic things required to understand the furthermore topics in electrostatics. So let us try to understand one by one thing in deeply. Now let us try to understand the charge and what is the basic charge value and what is the unit of charge. As we have studied, charges are of two types, and we also said that proton is positively charged and electron is negatively charged. So here magnitude of proton or electron is always same. That magnitude of charge of electron or proton is how much? 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. That is, the unit of charge is ampere second, which is nothing but coulomb. The SI unit of charge is what? Coulomb, or you can say like ampere second. Because later in further chapter we also study one more relation, that charge is product of current and time. So from there you can also see that the unit will become ampere second, but that we will study later. Right now you just consider the unit of or SI unit of charge is coulomb. But usually in the problem solving or in any numericals, we will get the questions like millicoulomb, microcoulomb, nanocoulomb, where milli means 10 power minus 3, micro means 10 power minus 6, nano means 10 power minus 9. Very rarely sometimes pico also will come. Pico means 10 power minus 12. Now let us try to understand in a simplest manner how the charging of a body occurs or happens. Consider an atom, because every object or every substance is made up of atom, and we all knew that in every atom there are equal number of protons and electrons. The number of protons always equal to number of electrons. Let's say inside one atom there are 10 protons and there are 10 electrons. And here we represented that the charge of electron or proton is same in magnitude, and we represented with small e, and the value is this much. Now if you consider the total charge of all protons is 10e. One proton is e, so 10 protons means 10e. Similarly, the total charge of all electrons is minus 10e, because one electron charge is minus e. Now the total charge of the atom will become 10e minus 10e, so that it will become what? 0. So the total charge of an atom is always 0. But what if one electron removed from the atom? What if one electron is added to the atom? So that is the main thing actually which causes charging of a body. So if you consider the same body, you add one electron, then there are 10 protons and 10 electrons, and you are adding one electron, so the total 11 electrons. Now the net charge will become 10e for all protons minus 11e for all electrons, so that the net charge will become what? Minus e. Similarly, if you remove one electron from the same object where 10 protons and 10 electrons were there, now there are 10 protons but only 9 electrons, so that what is the resultant charge will become now? 10e minus 9e, so that what is that? E. When I added one electron, the resultant charge became minus E. When I removed one electron, the resultant charge became plus E. So that means here the electrons are excess. So the excess of electrons giving negatively charged body results in negatively charged body. And here there is a deficiency of electrons. The deficiency of electrons results in what? Positively charged body. So this is the way we get positively charged body and negatively charged body. Based on the same way, based on the same thing, we can also understand the properties of charges. There are mainly three properties of charges. That is, first one, charge is transferable. We can transfer the charge from one body to another body. Nothing but you can transfer electron from one body to another body so that the charges get transferred. Now, one more property is charge is conserved, and the other one is charge is always quantized. So let us try to understand all the properties in detail. So the properties of charges. Now let us try to understand the properties of charges. As I said, charge is transferable, charge always associated with mass, charge is conserved, charge is quantized. So what exactly each one means? Let us try to understand. The first one, charge is transferable. We can transfer the charge from one body to another body, one charged body to another charged body, one charged body to another uncharged body also. So you can transfer the charge from one body to another body. For example, let's say there is a body having minus 2e and there is another body that is having 0 charge. Now when you put them in contact, what happens is the sharing of charge happens. Of course, that is a type of process of charging a body, but that we will discuss after this. But right now just consider, when you kept them in contact, one charged and an uncharged body, then the excess charge on the charged body sharing between those two bodies, so that each will get some charge, minus E minus E. Of course, this is always not true that they will get equally shared. That depends upon the size and properties, everything. But here, let us take two identical bodies, but one is charged and one is uncharged. That's why the charge will be shared equally. So that one uncharged body, when you get it in touch with the charged body, then that uncharged body also get charged. That's why what we are calling charge is transferable. Now next property is charge always associated with mass. Now this is also having some mass, this is also having some mass. Here charge is associated with mass. Here mass is there but there is no charge. So mass can exist. Mass can exist without charge, but charge cannot exist without mass. So always charge exists along with mass only. That is the second property. And third one is charge is conserved. Of course, we studied this word conservation many times, especially in physics. Conservation means what? What is the meaning of conservation? Conservation means remains constant. Something remains constant, which doesn't change. So what remains constant? Charge. What charge remains constant? Whose charge remains constant? That is the question. That means the total charge existing, whole charge, always remains constant. We cannot create any more charge, we cannot destroy any more charge. Only what we can do is we can transfer the charge. We can transfer the charge from one body to another body, but we are not creators and we are not destroyers. We cannot create, we neither create nor destroy the charge. Charge always conserve. That is the third property. Now, the final one is charge is quantized. So what is the meaning of quantization? If you understand, then this property is simple. So the quantization meaning is any quantity, whether it is charge or mass or any other. So every value of a quantity, if you are able to express in terms of integral multiples of some base quantity, then that quantity is called quantized. Or then we say that the quantity is quantized. Like here, what property is quantized? Charge. So what is the base value of charge? E. Charge of electron or charge of proton, 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Now every charged body, if you consider, as I mentioned, you can make the charged body only with the transfer of electrons. That means you can add 1 electron, 2 electron, 3 electron. Similarly, you can remove 1 electron, 2 electron, 3 electron, so on. If you add, then the charge may become minus E, minus 2E, minus 3E, minus 4E, so on. If you remove electron, it may become like plus E, plus 2E, plus 3E, so on. That means the charge of a body always exists in terms of plus or minus Ne, where N is integral multiples. It may be 0, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, so on. So if there is no transfer of electron, then the charge may be 0. If 1 electron is excess, minus E, 1 electron is deficient, then plus E. So on. Always charge of any body exists in terms of E times 1 integral. So if you are able to express any quantity in this manner, then we use the word like quantization. That's why charge is quantized. Always charge exists in this manner. Or else, if you divide charge of any body or any substance with charge of electron, you will get one integer, maybe plus or minus. But always you will get the ratio of charge of a body to charge of electron, what? One integer, positive or negative. Integral multiples of base value. So these are all the properties of what? Charges. There are total 4 properties of charges. Now let us try to understand charging of a body, because we said like we can transfer electron from one body to another body, like we can add, we can even remove electron. But how exactly it happens and how the body gets charged? Because when you consider an atom, the whole atom behaves like neutral, because there are charges, positive protons, negative electrons, but the total net charge of the atom is always how much? 0. That's why it is neutral. But we need positively charged body or negatively charged body. So how can we do that process of charging of a body? That can be done by 3 processes. One is charging by friction, another one is charging by conduction, and another one is charging by induction. If you consider the very first one, simplest one, and you can do it on your own also, simple experiments, like you take a dry comb and rub with your hair, and after rubbing take it near to the piece of paper, then you will observe that the comb will get attract those paper pieces. So that represents there is some attraction force between the comb and the paper pieces, but that happens only after rubbing. So that rubbing is causing something. So what exactly happens is, when you rub, there is a transfer of charges, so that the body get charged. That's why the comb get charged. Now you are taking that charged comb near to the paper pieces, uncharged one, then that will get attracted. And this process of charging a body with the help of rubbing is nothing but charging by friction. So simplest process. Even you can consider like you take a Xerox machine or printing machine. Once the paper comes out of the machine, you take the paper and touch to your hand. You will observe that the paper will try to stick to your hand. That is because it will get pressed inside the machine. So it will get rubbed. So due to friction, that will get charged, and after coming out it will stick to your hand. Even an automobile moving on the road in air, due to air friction, that also get charged. So like that there are many examples where you can consider about charging by friction. Now second process is charging by conduction. Third process is charging by induction. Both are similar kind of process, like you will use one charged body to charge one uncharged body. But what is the difference is, charging by conduction means you will make contact between charged and uncharged body, and charging by induction means there should not be any contact between charged body and uncharged body. Like if you take, I already explained when I explained about the charge is transferable property. That means you take one charged body and you take one neutral body and you kept them in contact. Then the net charge will be shared between them, so that after when you separate them, this charge will get separated and both will acquire some charge. If the bodies are identical, then they will get equal amount of charge. But that thing we will study later, like how much charge will get each body, which depends upon the charge distribution and all. But right now, what is our conclusion? If you take one charged body and uncharged body and kept them in contact, then that uncharged body also gets some charge, and when you separate them, both become charged bodies. Of course, the first one is already charged one, but the second one also gets some charge. This kind of process of charging an uncharged body using one charged body by keeping them in contact is defined as what? Charging by conduction. Now, here the process of conduction gives similar charges, like here positive charge is there. Then after separating them, both acquire what kind of charge? Positive charge only. So they get repelled each other. But in case of charging by induction, if you observe, positive charge will induce negative charge will induce positive charge. So we need to understand that. But before understanding the charging by induction, we need to understand one more small thing, that is earthing of a body. Nothing but you take any body and connect it to earth. Earth is a big conductor which has capacity to transfer infinite number of charges, also to accept infinite number of charges. That's why when you connect a body to earth, what happens is the excess of charge on the body get neutralized. Suppose it is having negative charge. What it represents? Excess of electrons. So those excess of electrons will get transferred to earth so that the body becomes neutral. If the body is having positively charged body, then electrons transferred to the body so that it gets neutralized. That's why positively charged body connected to earth means electrons transferred to body. Negatively charged body connected to earth means the electrons transferred towards earth, transfers to the earth. This is called earthing of a body. Now what you do is, you take one charged body. Let's take this is one charged body charged rod. Let's take the positive charge and you take it near to one another uncharged body. And when you take this charged rod near to one uncharged body, then inside this body whatever protons and electrons are there, as we concluded earlier, between similar charges there is a repulsion force, between opposite charges there is an attraction force. That's why this positively charged body attracts all the negative charges, that means electrons, and it repels all the positive charges, that is nothing but protons. Now these negatively charged electrons tightly bounded by this positively charged body because of there is a strong attraction, but these are repelled by this charged body. Now if you connect this to earth, this positively charged, what does that mean? Deficiency of electrons. So the electron will transfer to the body so that this will get neutralized. You may ask one question here. Why not these electrons will get transferred? Because we are talking about transfer of electrons either to earth or to body. Here these electrons cannot transfer to the earth because these are tightly or strongly bonded by this positively charged body, because there is one strong electrostatic attraction force, so that only this positive charge get neutralized. Now you disconnect the body from the earth, then what charge will remain on the body now? Only electrons, and that will get redistributed after you remove this one. Then the body gets what kind of charged body? Negatively charged body. So the conclusion is, if you take one positively charged body near an uncharged body and connect that body to earth and then disconnect it and separate it from that charged body, then it will acquire what? Opposite charge. Similarly, if you consider this is negatively charged body and you have taken to one uncharged body, then what kind of charge this uncharged body will acquire? Finally, positively charged. So positive will induce negative, negative will induce positive charge. That kind of process what we are calling it as charging by induction. So charging by conduction, charging by induction. The major difference what you have to remember, charging by conduction means there must be one contact. Charging by induction means there will not be any contact between the bodies.